Welcome back, dear listeners, to another story that will warm your heart and inspire your spirit. Today, I bring you a tale of determination, resilience, and the beauty of turning setbacks into comebacks. It's the story of a young boy, a cherished kite, and the lessons learned from a broken dream. As you listen, I invite you to reflect on your own experiences with failure, how you faced those moments, and what you learned from them. In a quaint little village nestled between rolling hills and gentle streams, there lived a young boy named Aidan. Aidan was like any other child in his village, curious, energetic, and filled with dreams. But there was one thing that set him apart. Aidan loved kites. He loved everything about them. The way they soared high in the sky, the way they danced with the wind, and the way they seemed to defy gravity itself. Aidan's greatest dream was to have a kite that could reach the very highest heights. He would spend hours every day watching the sky, imagining his kite flying higher than the birds, higher than the clouds, so high that it could almost touch the sun. But kites were not easy to come by in his little village, and Aidan didn't have the money to buy a new one. One day, while helping his father in the garden, Aidan found an old kite buried in the shed. A kite that had been left behind by some traveller long ago. It was tattered, with a broken frame and torn fabric. But to Aidan, it was a treasure. He carefully picked it up, his heart racing with excitement. This kite, he decided, would be the one to reach the sky. Despite its condition, Aidan believed that this kite could fly. He believed that with a little effort, a little patience, and a lot of love, he could repair it and make it soar. So, every evening after school, Aidan would sit outside his house with his small collection of materials, some old string, bits of cloth, and glue, and work tirelessly on the kite. Scene. Aidan is shown sitting on his porch, surrounded by bits and pieces of the broken kite. He works diligently, his face etched with concentration and hope. As days turned into weeks, Aidan slowly repaired the frame, pieced together the fabric, and carefully replaced the strings. It wasn't easy. Many times he would tie a knot only to see it unravel, or patch a piece of fabric only to have it tear again. But each time the kite fell apart, Aidan would start over. He didn't give up. He didn't complain. He just kept trying. Scene. The visuals show Aidan struggling, his hands fumbling with the strings, but his face never showing frustration, only determination. Slowly, the kite begins to take shape, its colours bright and hopeful. One evening, as the sun set and the sky turned a soft pink, Aidan stepped back and looked at his creation. The kite was not perfect. It still had a few patches and uneven seams, but it was whole. It was ready. With a wide grin, Aidan picked up the kite and ran out to the open field where he had watched other children fly their kites. With his heart pounding and his hands trembling with excitement, Aidan took a deep breath and launched the kite into the air. For a moment, it caught the breeze and began to rise. Aidan's eyes widened with hope as he watched his kite flutter up, and then, suddenly, it plummeted back to the ground. Disappointment threatened to seep into Aidan's heart, but he pushed it away. I must have done something wrong, he thought to himself. Maybe the wind wasn't right, or maybe I need to run faster. Determined to see his kite fly, Aidan tried again, and again, and again. Each time the kite would lift, hover briefly, and then fall back down. As the days went by, Aidan's hope began to waver. He had tried everything, different techniques, different times of day, even asking for advice from the older boys who had their own kites. But no matter what he did, his kite just wouldn't stay in the air. One evening, as he sat alone in the field, clutching the broken kite, Aidan felt a tear slip down his cheek. Maybe the villagers were right. Maybe this kite was never meant to fly. Aidan's mind filled with doubt. Why can't I make this work? He whispered to himself. Maybe I'm just not good enough. For the first time, Aidan considered giving up. Maybe it was time to let go of this dream. Maybe it was time to accept that some things just weren't meant to be. But as he sat there, lost in his thoughts, a gentle voice interrupted the silence. "Why so sad, young one?" Aidan looked up to see an old man standing nearby. The man's face was weathered, but his eyes were kind and full of understanding. He looked down at the kite and smiled softly. "You've put a lot of love into this kite," the old man said. "But love alone isn't enough. You must understand why it's not flying. Each part of the kite serves a purpose. The frame for strength, the fabric for balance, and the strings for guidance. If any one part is weak, the whole kite will struggle." Aidan listened intently as the old man pointed